No official bout card exists for a moment like this. No sanctioned record, no referee's report, no clean photograph with a caption and a date. If it happened, it lived the way private challenges live, inside a gym's memory, inside the small edits people make when they retell a scene that felt dangerous to witness. So what follows is a documentary-style reconstruction of a very specific kind of encounter. Not a show fight, not a movie stunt, but the quiet collision of two worlds. Boxing pride and Bruce Lee's calm refusal to fight on anyone else's rules. The place is ordinary, a training space that smells like old canvas, sweat dried into seams, and metal from weights handled for years. Fans push warm air around in circles, light comes through dusty windows in pale strips and falls onto the floor in rectangles, like someone laid tape down just to mark where attention should go. Men are drilling in pairs, gloves tapping, feet sliding, the steady rhythm of repetition that makes you forget time. Bruce is there the way he's often described in stories like this, not performing, not projecting, just present, plain training clothes, no dramatic posture, compact, wired, balanced, the kind of body that doesn't look big until you stand close enough to understand density. He's talking to someone younger, a quiet exchange, more teacher than celebrity. Then the boxer arrives. He doesn't enter like a stranger, he enters like a man who expects the room to make space without being asked. The build is different from the wrestlers and judo men, shoulders and chest shaped by rounds, not clinches. Hands that look used to leather, a face that has been hit enough times to learn what fear feels like and stop showing it. Somewhere in the room, a coach recognizes him. Someone else whispers a name, half question, half warning. Legendary is what people call a fighter when they don't want to explain the details. The titles, the gyms, the long line of men who tried him and learned what it costs. He watches Bruce for a few seconds, the way a professional watches movement, measuring timing more than size. Then he smiles, not friendly, not cruel, just certain. The kind of smile that says, "This is my world." He speaks loud enough that everyone can hear, casual enough to pretend it's not serious. "You can't touch me." The line lands because it's built to do one thing, force a response. It's not an insult about Bruce's character. It's an insult about his legitimacy. It's the old border dispute, real fighters and movie fighters. And it's meant to turn the room into a jury. Training doesn't stop instantly, but the rhythm breaks. A glove pauses mid-air, a foot hesitates. Men pretend they didn't hear, but their bodies lean toward the sound anyway. Bruce looks at him the way you look at a problem you didn't order. No flare of ego, no tightening in the face, just attention. Then he steps closer, not to fight yet, but to remove distance from the conversation. The boxer's hands rise a little higher, instinctive, automatic. Boxing has its own language, angles, range, the promise that if you step into it wrong, you'll pay. He doesn't bounce like a showman, he settles, as if the floor belongs to him. And now the stakes are set without anyone announcing them. If Bruce refuses, the story becomes cowardice in retelling. If Bruce accepts on the boxer's terms, the story becomes proof that rules can cage even a legend. And if Bruce accepts on his own terms, quiet, controlled, then the room might witness something rarer than violence, a public correction. And everyone in that gym understands, the next few seconds will decide which world owns the narrative. The boxer doesn't ask for gloves, he doesn't ask for a ring, he doesn't ask for rounds. He wants something simpler and crueler, a moment that proves his sentence true. "You can't touch me." He takes a half step back and raises his hands in a clean guard. Elbows in, chin tucked. The stance is economical, practiced enough that it doesn't look like effort. He gives Bruce a target and at the same time takes it away. Subtle head movement, small shifts in weight, the kind of balance that makes a jab feel like a door you open and close whenever you want. Bruce steps onto the open mat without ceremony. He doesn't mirror the boxer's stance. His hands are open. His posture looks less like a fighter performing and more like a man adjusting to weather. Loose but not careless. Ready but not stiff. A circle forms the way it always forms. Nobody calls it. Nobody admits they're doing it. They just drift until sightlines exist. Somebody says quietly, "Keep it light." No one replies. Because light is a word people use when they want to pretend the outcome can't hurt anyone. The boxer bounces once, almost teasing. "Come on," he says, "touch me." Bruce doesn't rush. He gives the boxer space to be confident inside. He watches the shoulders, the hips, the way the weight transfers before a punch. Boxing is timing too. Boxing is built out of it, and this man is good. The first exchange is almost invisible. Bruce edges forward, just enough to suggest entry, then stops. The boxer reacts anyway. A tiny flinch of the lead hand, a faint dip of the head, a micro step that resets distance. It's nothing. But Bruce noticed. He does it again, a half feint with the front hand. Not a punch, a question. The boxer answers with a subtle lean and a small shuffle, keeping the line clean. He smiles as if to say, "I told you." Bruce changes the question. He steps a fraction to the outside, not retreating, not charging, sideways, like he's refusing the boxer's straight-line geometry. The boxer adjusts, cutting the angle back, trying to keep Bruce in front of him where boxing is strongest. Now the room feels the tug-of-war. One man wants the fight to be a corridor, the other wants it to be an open room. The boxer flicks a jab, not hard, but fast, toward Bruce's face. It's a warning that distance belongs to him. Bruce's head moves a few inches, no drama. The jab passes like a thought that didn't land. The boxer's eyebrows lift slightly, impressed despite himself. "See?" he says. "You can't—" He doesn't finish, because Bruce steps in, not with a lunging punch, but with a short, quick placement. A touch, 2 knuckles to the lead glove, almost nothing, but undeniable contact. And in the same beat, Bruce's other hand checks the forearm, guiding it offline. It isn't damage, it's disruption. The boxer pulls back quickly, annoyed. That doesn't count. Bruce doesn't argue, he doesn't smile. He just resets his feet, calm, like a man who didn't come here to win a debate. He came here to answer a social question with physical truth. The boxer bounces again, sharper now. The confidence is still there, but it has changed color. It's not playful anymore. It's defensive pride. He throws a faster jab, then a second, then a third, trying to build a wall. Bruce doesn't crash through the wall. He walks around it, a short step to the outside, a quiet shift of hips, a glide that keeps him just beyond the jab's clean line. The boxer pivots to keep him centered, and pivoting, no matter how skilled, costs time. And time is what Bruce trades in. The boxer says it again, louder, like volume can protect certainty. "You can't touch me." But now, everyone in the circle understands something. Bruce already has. If Bruce refuses, the story becomes cowardice in retelling. If Bruce accepts on the boxer's terms, the story becomes proof that rules can cage even a legend. And if Bruce accepts on his own terms, quiet, controlled, then the room might witness something rarer than violence, a public correction. And everyone in that gym understands the next few seconds will decide which world owns the narrative. The boxer starts trying to make it official without admitting that he's doing it. He widens his stance slightly, plants more, stops bouncing as much. His hands come up tighter, elbows drawing in as if he's sealing doors. That's what skilled fighters do when they sense a different kind of danger. They simplify. They return to fundamentals, and fundamentals are where he expects to dominate. He snaps a jab that finally lands something real, not a clean punch to the face, but a brush across Bruce's cheekbone, the glove grazing skin. It's light, but it's contact, and the room reacts the way rooms react when they see proof. A small inhale, a faint shift of bodies. The boxer smiles again, but it's not the earlier smile. It's relief. "Now," he says, "you understand." Bruce touches the cheek with his fingertips for half a second, not checking blood. There's none, just acknowledging information. Then he steps forward again. The boxer throws a combination, not full power, but crisp. Jab cross, a hook that stops short. He's building a message. You step in, you get punished. Bruce doesn't retreat straight back. He never gives a corridor. He slides off angle by angle, using the mat like it's a map he knows better than anyone else. The boxer pivots to track him, and the circle tightens without meaning to. Men who have trained their whole lives recognize this feeling. When distance becomes uncertain, when you can't tell if you're safe because the other man is refusing to stand where you want him. Bruce feints low, just a dip of the shoulder toward the body, and the boxer's guard drops a hair. Instinct. Protect the ribs, protect the liver. That's all Bruce needs. He doesn't throw a dramatic strike. He steps into the open space and taps the boxer's lead shoulder. Again, a touch, a check, a reminder that your body has seams, and those seams can be found. The boxer's irritation shows now. He snaps his lead hand out like a whip, trying to swat the contact away and reassert the border. Bruce doesn't fight the hand. He redirects it. A small parry, a slight guide. And then Bruce steps in again. This time, the touch is higher. A quick tap to the face, 2 knuckles, clean, controlled, and the boxer blinks in spite of himself. Not because it hurts, because the nervous system still answers contact with reflex, even in champions. And the blink is expensive. The boxer swears under his breath, his stance tightens, his shoulders rise, his breathing changes subtly. He's not tired, not yet, but he's now spending energy on control, not offense. "Stop tapping," he says. Bruce doesn't respond. The boxer rushes forward, trying to cut Bruce off, to herd him toward the mat edge, to make the room smaller. That's a boxer's trap too. Pressure, ropes, corners, except here there are no ropes, just bodies and walls and pride. Bruce glides along the edge of that pressure, never trapped, never fully out. He gives the boxer just enough access to keep him reaching, and reaching is where timing leaks. The boxer throws a hook that would take a head off if it landed. It whistles past Bruce's ear because Bruce is already inside the arc, where the punch is strongest for damage but weakest for control. From inside, Bruce's hands are not fists, not yet. They are instruments. A touch to the forearm to kill the next punch before it begins. A touch to the shoulder to turn the line. A short contact to the body that steals comfort for a second. Not movie strikes, functional strikes. The boxer backs half a step, then catches himself. That half step is a confession in a fight language only fighters understand. I didn't like that. He tries to disguise it by coming forward again, faster, but faster doesn't restore what he's losing, because Bruce is not trying to beat him in boxing. He's taking away the one thing the boxer needs to keep the sentence true, predictability. And with predictability gone, "You can't touch me" becomes a prayer instead of a statement. The boxer's confidence doesn't vanish, it hardens. He stops talking now. The jokes leave his face. The smile drains out like someone pulled a plug. What's left is work. He raises his hands higher, tightens his elbows and begins to move with fewer flourishes. He's trying to turn the exchange into something measurable again. Jab, distance, punish, entry. He flicks a jab at Bruce's chest, then another at the shoulder, not to hurt, but to mark space. It's a fence, a boundary line drawn in leather. Bruce watches the fence and never argues with it head-on. He drifts, a few inches to the outside, a small half-step that changes what the jab means. The punch that was meant to be a straight line becomes a reach across the boxer's own body, and reaching across your own body is where balance leaks. The boxer feels it and corrects. He pivots hard, cutting the angle back. The pivot is clean. He's good, but every pivot costs him a fraction, and fractions are what Bruce collects. The boxer throws a quicker combination, jab cross, trying to make the air hostile. The punches snap, sharp and controlled, not showy, professional. Bruce doesn't evade in the way people imagine. He isn't making big movements. He's making small ones that keep him safe without giving up position, a slip, a shift, a step that's already done before the punch fully commits. The room is quiet enough that you can hear shoes on canvas. The boxer's breathing changes slightly. Still controlled, but higher. He's working now in a way he didn't plan to. He wanted to prove a sentence, not solve a puzzle. He tries to solve it by escalating pressure. He steps forward more aggressively, forcing Bruce toward the mat edge again. He wants Bruce limited, wants him to run out of angles. Big men don't win by speed. They win by shrinking the world until speed has nowhere to go. But Bruce refuses to be herded. He slides along the edge of the pressure like a man walking beside a river without falling in. Never backing straight, never crossing his feet, never showing panic, just constant, quiet adjustment. The boxer lunges with a jab that finally feels like it's meant to land hard. Bruce is already outside the line, and from that outside angle, Bruce touches the boxer's lead glove, tap, then the forearm, tap, then a short check at the shoulder. 3 contacts that don't look like anything dramatic, but they scramble the next punch before it begins. The boxer snaps his hand back, annoyed, and fires a hook to punish the entry. Bruce is already inside the arc again. From close range, Bruce delivers a compact strike to the body, short, tight, efficient. The kind that doesn't win highlights but changes breathing. The boxer's mouth opens once, not a gasp, a test, like a man checking whether air still behaves normally. He steps back half a step without intending to. Then he surges forward to cover the confession, trying to reclaim initiative with motion and volume. His gloves come forward, not just punching now but pressing, swatting, trying to keep Bruce's hands away from his face. Bruce doesn't trade. He interrupts. A quick touch to the face, just enough to force a blink. A check on the bicep. A shift to the side. The boxer swings and turns and swings again, chasing a clean exchange that won't arrive. He's doing what Bruce wants him to do, spending energy on correction instead of offense. And now the room can read the hidden scoreboard. Not points, not damage. Control. The boxer came in believing his world could cage Bruce, that if he tightened the rules, Bruce would be forced to play inside them. But Bruce isn't playing. He's teaching the boxer something fighters hate to learn in public. That speed is not the weapon. Timing is. And timing doesn't care what discipline you came from. It cares whether you can still make decisions under pressure. The boxer tries one more time to set his feet and throw with authority, cross, then hook, committing harder, deeper, and Bruce does not move away from it. He moves around it. He's taking away the one thing the boxer needs to keep the sentence true. Predictability, and with predictability gone, "You can't touch me," becomes a prayer instead of a statement. The boxer commits to the hook like he's trying to end the conversation. His shoulders rotate, hips turning through the punch, weight transferring cleanly. For a split second, it's the kind of mechanics that have ended fights. Bruce doesn't backpedal, he steps. A short angle step to the outside of the lead foot, quiet, sharp, so the hook cuts through air that no longer contains a head. The glove passes, and the boxer's momentum carries him a fraction farther than he wanted. That fraction is enough. Bruce touches first again, not with a heavy shot, but with a check to the lead arm. A sting that makes the arm feel less like a weapon and more like a limb. Then a second touch higher, near the shoulder seam, the exact place fighters hate being controlled because it makes the whole upper body feel steered. The boxer's eyes narrow. He pulls back and tries to reset. He widens his stance and raises his guard tighter, returning to the safety of structure. Boxing becomes a box. He's trying to put Bruce back in front of him. Bruce refuses the front. He circles just enough to keep the boxer turning, not running away, not giving ground, staying close enough that the boxer believes he can catch him if he just commits harder. The boxer tries a different tactic. He crowds. He steps in, chest forward, using his forearms and gloves to bump and frame. Legal in a gym, not in a ring, but the kind of grey area control men use when they're tired of being made to miss. He wants to smother angles. He wants to turn this into shoulders and pressure. Bruce lets the crowding happen for half a second. Then he shifts offline again, not fighting the pressure head on. He turns the line into a diagonal, letting the boxer's forward weight travel into space. The boxer stumbles. Just a small correction step, not a fall, but the sound is loud in this room. Shoe scraping, canvas complaining, and everyone hears it. The boxer straightens fast, trying to hide what the body just confessed. He snaps a jab to reassert distance, then another. He's building a wall again. Bruce doesn't crash the wall. He slips along it and steps in close enough to touch the body again. Short, compact, efficient. The boxer's ribs tighten involuntarily. Breath catches for a beat. Now the boxer's face changes. It's not fear, it's calculation under stress. The look of a man realizing he might not be able to keep control of the exchange long enough to win it the way he planned. He tries to solve it with volume, 3 punches fast, forcing Bruce to react. The gloves whip through the air, jab, cross, hook. Bruce reacts, but not by retreating. He shifts, checks, and re-enters. A tap to the forearm that kills the cross's clean path. A touch to the glove that interrupts the jab's timing. A short strike to the body that makes the boxer's shoulders lift, breathing climbing higher. The boxer backs a half step again. Then he steps forward again. He's caught in a loop. Retreat is humiliation, forward is chasing, and chasing is the trap, because every time he chases, he exposes a moment where his feet aren't fully his. And Bruce lives in those moments like a man who knows the exact second a door can be opened without resistance. Bruce steps in close enough that grabbing is possible but never clean, and delivers 2 more tight hits. Not exaggerated, no big wind-up, just contact with purpose. The boxer's mouth opens and closes once. Air doesn't feel normal. His chest rises higher now, shoulders tense. Sweat begins to show along the hairline. He tries to speak, maybe another line, maybe another claim, but the words don't come out clean. Because his body is busy doing math, and Bruce is taking away time piece by piece without ever looking rushed. The boxer's pride doesn't let him stop. Not yet. He resets like a professional, not like a man panicking. Feet planted wider, chin tucked, hands high. He tries to rebuild the world where his sentence makes sense. "You can't touch me." He doesn't say it out loud now, but you can see it in the way he moves. He wants clean distance again, wants the exchange to become predictable. Jab controls range, cross punishes entry, hook catches exits. He flicks the jab again, sharp, fast, aimed at Bruce's forehead, then shifts it down to the chest, a probing fence. Bruce slips and steps, never dramatic, always measured. The punches miss by inches, but they also keep Bruce honest. They force him to choose, and Bruce chooses the same thing every time: angles. Bruce steps to the outside, and the boxer pivots to keep him centered. The pivot is good, but it costs him. You can see the boxer's calves working harder now, the slight rise in shoulders between breaths. The room hears the mat more clearly. Soft squeaks, quick scrapes, the sound of effort without shouting. The boxer tries to time Bruce's entry. He waits, then fires a crisp cross the moment Bruce comes close. For the first time, it nearly lands clean. Bruce's head moves just enough. The glove passes tight, grazing air beside the cheek. The boxer feels how close it was, and for a heartbeat, confidence flashes back. He chases it. He throws again. Cross, then hook. Bruce doesn't run. He steps inside. A short check on the bicep kills the next line. A touch to the glove disrupts the hook's arc before it finishes. And then a compact body shot lands, tight, efficient, stealing comfort and breath. The boxer's face tightens, not in pain the way a novice shows it, in annoyance that his body reacted without permission. He tries to smother Bruce with pressure again, forearms framing, shoulders leaning, attempting to walk Bruce backward like a man moving furniture. Bruce doesn't resist. He turns it. A half step offline, a diagonal shift. The boxer's drive goes into space again, and the boxer must correct, must chase the missing target. Chasing means moving the feet. Moving the feet means opening balance. Bruce steps in close and hits again, short, then exits a half step, then re-enters. The pattern is maddening. There is no clean start, no moment where the boxer can begin his combination without being interrupted. He tries to break the pattern by faking, a feint jab, then the real jab, a feint cross, then a quick step-in hook. Bruce reads the weight transfer instead of the hands. He watches hips and shoulders. The boxer's best deception is in his hands. Bruce's attention is in the body that powers them, so the fakes don't buy the boxer what he wants. They buy him only more movement. Now fatigue begins to appear in small ways, not collapse, not dramatic heaviness, just the subtle signs experienced fighters recognize. Breath rising higher, shoulders lifting on inhale, the guard becoming slightly less held and more kept. The jab losing a fraction of snap. The boxer notices it too, and that awareness makes him slower. Caution checks movement halfway. The arrogance has thinned into carefulness, and carefulness costs time. Bruce touches the face again, tap, forcing a blink. The boxer swats at the hand with irritation and tries to answer with a quick combination, but the combination is no longer clean. Bruce checks it apart and lands another body strike that makes the boxer's ribs tighten and his mouth open for a short, involuntary test of air. The boxer backs a half step, then catches himself and steps forward again, determined to restore the story he arrived with. But determination doesn't restore timing, and timing is exactly what Bruce has been taking, quietly, steadily, like a man removing bolts from a machine until it still runs, but not the way it used to. The room knows the end is near, even if no one says it, because the boxer has stopped trying to prove he's untouchable. Now he's trying to survive being touched in front of witnesses, because his body is busy doing math, and Bruce is taking away time, piece by piece, without ever looking rushed. The boxer stands still for a moment, gloves hovering near his face, chest rising higher than before. It isn't dramatic exhaustion. It's the specific fatigue of repeated correction, energy spent on turning, resetting, chasing space that keeps moving away. The room waits, not because anyone wants more violence, but because everyone understands the social question hasn't fully closed. Does the boxer double down, or does he accept the lesson? He doubles down. He comes forward again, less explosive than earlier, more stubborn, the kind of push a man makes when pride weighs more than breath. He tries to make the room smaller with pressure, stepping in as if he can compress Bruce into a corner of geometry where timing won't save him. Bruce lets the distance close, calm, eyes steady. Then he shifts off the line again, quiet precision, so the boxer's hands close on air and the boxer's body must correct. The boxer turns quickly, trying to catch Bruce on the exit. He almost does. His forearm brushes Bruce's shoulder, a shove meant to finally become control. The room tenses. Contact feels like the beginning of dominance, but the contact does not become a hold. Bruce absorbs it, shifts, and recenters instantly, like a door swinging and then clicking shut again. The boxer reaches with both hands to follow, two hands, desperate for certainty, and that follow is the mistake, because it brings committed weight back into the exchange. And Bruce has been waiting for committed weight since the first second. He steps just outside the boxer's lead foot and turns. Small motion, large effect. The boxer's shoulder rotates into an angle it didn't intend. The hips lag. Balance breaks by inches, and inches are enough. Bruce lands a compact strike to the body, deeper this time, cleaner, the kind that steals breath without looking theatrical. The boxer's chest expands, then pauses, like a machine stuttering. His mouth opens and closes once. He swallows, trying to negotiate discomfort with willpower. He pushes forward anyway, but pushing forward while regaining breath is a negotiation the body doesn't like. His hands reach slower now, heavier. His guard is still up, but it's being held up by effort, not certainty. Bruce stays close. He denies recovery distance. He lands another short strike, then exits a half step, then re-enters again. The boxer tries to start an attack, jab, cross, but it never begins cleanly. Every start is interrupted. Every plan gets cut while it's still a thought. The boxer's eyes flick to Bruce's feet now. That's a sign too. When a boxer starts watching feet, it means the hands are no longer telling the truth. It means he's trying to understand why the target keeps slipping without looking like it's slipping. Bruce touches the face again. An interrupting tap. The boxer blinks, angry at himself for blinking. He tries to answer with a hook, but Bruce is already inside the arc and out again. A trainee in the circle exhales sharply, without meaning to. Not cheering, more like disbelief. A sound you make when the reality in front of you doesn't match the story you came in with. The boxer hears it. He knows what it means. He tries to restore control with one last push. Step in, frame, throw. Trying to force Bruce to either trade or run. Bruce does neither. He guides the line again. Check, angle, short contact. Then another compact strike to the body, not a knockout. A correction, enough to answer the only question that matters in a serious room. Can the boxer impose his world on this man? In the boxer's posture, the answer begins to show before he admits it. His gloves drop a fraction, not surrender for the crowd's sake, but because his body has reached a cost limit. Continuing would mean risking something worse than losing, being visibly dismantled. And in a gym like this, the humiliation is already enough. The boxer swallows and looks at Bruce again. The swagger is gone. What remains is confusion, and under it, reluctant respect. He speaks, quieter than he did at the start. You're fast. It isn't praise, it's diagnosis, the simplest explanation his mind can reach for. Bruce nods once, calm, almost polite. It's not speed, he says. The room leans in. The fight has turned back into a classroom without anyone announcing it. It's timing. The boxer stands there and lets the words settle as if they have weight. Timing. For a second, you can see him replaying the exchange in his head, not the punches, the gaps, the moments where he thought he was about to begin, and something small stopped him before it became real. The taps, the checks, the angle changes that made his best mechanics feel like they were aimed at empty space. He looks down at his own hands like they betrayed him, flexes his fingers once, opens and closes them, slow, as if confirming they still belong to him. The room stays quiet, no clapping, no laughter. Serious training spaces don't celebrate public correction. Adding noise would make it cruel, and everyone knows the humiliation is already enough. The boxer lifts his eyes back to Bruce. His expression is no longer amused. It's unsettled, but not angry. It's the face of a man who has met a kind of control he doesn't possess. You're fast, he repeats, softer, like he's trying to keep the explanation simple so it doesn't threaten his identity. Bruce shakes his head slightly. No show, no lecture tone. Speed helps, he says, calm and steady. But speed is just the vehicle. Timing is the driver. He doesn't say it like a philosopher. He says it like a coach who has watched the same mistake ruin the same kind of fighter 100 times. The boxer came in believing boxing range could protect him, that if he kept the rules tight, the fight would stay inside his system. But Bruce never agreed to that system. Bruce gestures lightly with his open hand, not pointing, not mocking, just showing. When you commit, Bruce says, you have a beat where you can't change your mind. The boxer's eyes narrow. He knows what that means. Every fighter knows. Commitment is necessary. Commitment is also the moment you can be read. Bruce continues, still calm. You were looking at my hands, but the hands are late. The body tells the truth first. A few men in the circle nod without realizing they're nodding. You can see it in their posture. They've heard versions of this lesson before, but watching it happen is different. Watching it happen carves the lesson into memory. The boxer exhales slowly, the kind of exhale that comes from surrendering an argument you didn't know you were making. He isn't surrendering to Bruce as a person. He's surrendering to the reality that his sentence was too absolute. You can't touch me. He was touched, not as a cheap trick, not as a lucky shot, as a repeated, controlled truth. He glances toward the edge of the mat, then back at Bruce, then down again. He swallows. The pride is still there, but it has changed shape. It's not swagger now. It's dignity under repair. He takes a step back, then another. He turns away from the mat without theatrics. No rage, no dramatic exit. He walks out the way men walk out when they've been corrected in front of strangers. Not running, not shouting, just leaving, slower than he arrived. Training resumes in fragments. A glove lifts again. A pair begins moving. Footwork returns, but the rhythm is altered. People keep glancing at Bruce, then back to their partners, as if what they saw has quietly changed their standard for what control looks like. Bruce doesn't celebrate. He doesn't posture. He doesn't act like he won a war. He steps back to the edge of the mat and speaks quietly to the younger student again, as if nothing happened. But the room knows something did happen. Not a cinematic fight, not a dramatic knockout, something more useful. A demonstration that skill doesn't always look loud, that dominance doesn't always look like destruction, and that the most dangerous kind of confidence is the kind that stays calm while it takes your timing away. The boxer's sentence came in strong. It leaves broken, not by force, by understanding. In the boxer's posture, the answer begins to show before he admits it. His gloves drop a fraction, not surrender for the crowd's sake, but because his body has reached a cost limit. Continuing would mean risking something worse than losing, being visibly dismantled. And in a gym like this, the humiliation is already enough. The boxer swallows and looks at Bruce again. The swagger is gone. What remains is confusion, and under it, reluctant respect. He speaks, quieter than he did at the start. You're fast. It isn't praise, it's diagnosis, the simplest explanation his mind can reach for. Bruce nods once, calm, almost polite. It's not speed, he says. The room leans in. The fight has turned back into a classroom without anyone announcing it. It's timing.